Now, the woman who has accused Prince Andrew of sexually abusing her has praised a US judge's decision to allow her civil case against him to continue. Virginia Giuffre claims that the prince abused her in 2001 when she was 17 and a minor under US law. Prince Andrew strongly denies the allegations. Yesterday, it was revealed that the prince's military titles and royal patronages had been returned to the Queen. He'll also stop using his HRH title, according to a royal source. So I'm delighted to now be joined on the show by the broadcaster and royal commentator Jennie Bond. So, Jennie, what are your thoughts on the latest developments?
I think probably the Queen and her advisors will have woken up this morning probably relieved that the headlines are not about Prince Andrew. I think I feel quite fortunate that there have been major ructions in the Downing Street story and also the Djokovic story, which has kind of knocked this off the headlines a bit because normally it would have been up there. So a measure of relief, but also I think they feel that they've done the only thing they could, which is, if you like, lance the boil somewhat, which is Prince Andrew, the toxicity that surrounds him, the damage he was doing to the brand of the royal family. And I think they've moved swiftly to separate the man from the monarchy. This is what it's about. It's about defending the monarchy, putting a wall of defence around the institution that the Queen so cares about so deeply.
But I don't think that's going to make any difference at all, because people still associate Andrew clearly with the monarchy. There's no way out of that one. What does it actually mean for Prince Andrew, though, him having no HRH and his title stripped from him? How would that affect him as he moves forward?
Well, it's very humiliating for him, but I think you're right. He can't suddenly become totally unroyal. You know, he's going to defend this case as a private citizen. Well, yes, OK, so I don't know how they'll refer to him if it gets to full court procedure. But he will remain very much in the public eye as far as the court procedure is concerned. Elsewhere, he will not be seen. He will not carry out official duties. I mean, after his disastrous Newsnight interview, when his mother had to sack him from official duties, he always felt he probably could come back. But yesterday, the Queen had to act decisively. She summoned him to the castle. There was a 45-minute meeting. He went with his lawyer, actually, Gary Bloxham, who's become quite a close advisor, but the Queen was having nothing of that. She didn't want him in the room, it seems, so he sat in the car park. And the Queen then decided that he really must now step down permanently. So she sacked him once and for all, and his affiliations, his military affiliations and his patronages are being handed out to other members of the royal family. So there's no going back.
So what do you think then? In terms of the Queen, then, do you think this was the right move for her?
I think it was the only move for her, really. It had become untenable. She was sent a letter by 150 military veterans who all said, please, we don't want this man as our colonel-in-chief or our honorary colonel anymore. Do something about it. And I think at that point, the pressure became overwhelming. I mean, the pressure isn't off on his other titles either. Just the latest development is that one of the MPs who represents York has said, we don't want him to be Duke of York either. That is a taint on our city. One or two other voices in York are saying the same thing. So that's absolutely in the gift of the Queen. He was made the Duke of York on the day of his wedding. And there's been no word from the palace that they're considering stripping him of that as well. But the pressure will continue.
It's not looking good for him at all. I mean, obviously, he has denied everything. Now, another royal-related story today is Downing Street apologising to Buckingham Palace following revelations that two parties were held the night before the Duke of Edinburgh's funeral.
Well, yes. I mean, it's unbelievable, quite frankly, isn't it? I think as one of the sketch writers of the paper said the other day, he said, really, I've got to resign or Boris Johnson's got to resign because I can't make fun of this anymore. It's doing it for itself. I'm sure that the Queen must have been despairing of her government, really, when she realised that she had to attend her husband's funeral alone and sit alone, as we all saw so graphically, that image, an image that represented the suffering of so many other families throughout the country who'd had to do the same thing. And the very night before that funeral, there was a party, an event, but a party, it seems, in Downing Street. Well, if I was the Queen, I'd say it's unforgivable. She won't say that, but I'm sure she would graciously have accepted the apology. But goodness knows what she thought behind the closed door.